Hello everybody, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button. Just let me get myself situated. So I'm with you with a strange one today. Well, it's not really strange, it's not junk journaling and it's not slow stitching, it's cosplaying. So my daughter's going to the London Comic Con, I think that's how you say it, Comic Con, on Saturday with her dad. And actually with lots of friends, so I think Dad's going to get abandoned. And she has an outfit with this amazing book that she's made using bits from my stash that is sort of an artifact from one of the things that she's a fan of. So she's done some distressing, she's actually sandpapered this through. It was a 1960s flower arranging book. We've gutted it, and I'm going to add some signatures. And she just wants, and this is why it's really not junk journaling, because I'm like, I've got maps, I've got all these cool things you could put in, and she's like, no, I just want paper. Excuse me while I drink my hot chocolate. So I've prepared 2 signatures, and they are both in my recycled paper that I use for my printer, which is sort of an off-white colour, so it is like a bit aged, and I've sort of folded them up so that they will be interesting because there'll be pockets and tuck spots, and she can sort of like trim the top and have some banner pages, shorter pages, to make the book interesting on the inside. And so there'll be 2 signatures, and she doesn't want me to do my usual thing of sewing straight through the spine, because that's what I normally do. So this is my first ever time of doing, I think it's my first ever time, or I might have done one before. Have I done one before? I can't remember. Anyway, it's we'll call it my first time doing a floating spine. No pressure. It has to be right for Saturday. So what I've done is I've developed my 2 signatures, so they're okay. I've found myself a piece of card. Now when I look at like other floating spines, they're actually, because they're sewn in slightly different, they don't work like this, like on a proper book. But this is how we're going to do it. So this is in fact my spine. I need to check to see if it's not too wide, because I have a feeling it is too wide, so we'll cut that down. I don't think this has to be very perfect. It is literally just there as a spine, as a backbone to hold the signature in. So we'll trim it down on each side. It's not very true and straight, but we won't worry about that either. Let's look now. Got enough. And trim down a bit more. Guide here to make it straighter. So I'm feeling a little bit better, because I'm getting over long COVID. Well, not long COVID. No, I don't want long COVID. I don't really believe in speaking things over yourself, but I definitely don't want that. It's taking longer, that's what I meant. It's taking longer to get over COVID than what I thought it was going to. And I'm just having to take my time. But my workplace is really good. They're understanding, and I had quite a loose day today. I only had 1 appointment, and then I managed to catch up with somebody and have an appointment. So I only had 2 appointments, and I bashed a lot of emails out, which wasn't as tiring because it wasn't as peoply, and I like the peopliness. It was alright. So now what I have is I've got these 2 bits of linen, because she wanted this colour and it wasn't quite the right length, but we're not worried about that either. I've got these 2 bits of linen that I'm going to stick the spine to. I'm going to make the spine a little bit shorter, because I think I'm going to wrap the linen over to make like a little neat end. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do first. We'll start with a shorter edge one. These bits of fabric are from my stash that I have. Which way am I going to do that? That way. Of fabric samples that I'm still working my way through. Like small little sort of bits from that. There we go. And the glue I'm using is Colol glue, which is like Fabri-Tac basically. Actually, I've had Fabri-Tac, and this isn't. It doesn't seem as smelly as it. It's a little bit solventy, and I tend to only really use it when I'm on a video because it's a little bit solventy, but it's all right. We're all right. So I'm just going to put that there. It should hold. It's got some silicone on the back of it to stop it fraying. I don't think you can see it, but I'm hoping that it should. Well, it should just hold. Okay, let's go. Carry on. So yeah, so I've had an alright day. I haven't got to any comments yet. I do apologise. I found at the end of the day I don't even want to look at my phone screen, but I'll make time to do that this evening. And it's just going to take some time. If I don't want to end up like still feeling ill at Christmas, I've got to sort of look after myself now, I think, really. But I think everybody understands that. We seem to be a good bunch of people. I'm so appreciative of everybody who watches the video and who's subscribed and comments and shares. It's really, when I look at, you get like a little weekly report, and I'm always amazed that people share the videos. So if you share the video, please let me know, because I'd like to thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. So we're just gonna whack some more glue on this bit. Just hold it on. Wonder if I can relieve myself of this here. I've got another small one. I thread my needle. Okay, so I'll sort of lay that on there, but that's where that's going to go. Have another slurp of hot chocolate. I might trim it, but let's do that now. Just to make sure everything is matching up. Ish, anyway. That's stuck down. Yeah. So I've got my needle. Put them out the way now, I don't need them. Thread. I'm just going to use embroidery floss, but I think probably dental floss would be the thing to do with this. You don't need anything fancy. I'm just going to pull a long string because I'm hoping I'll only have to thread the needle once. I can put back on my haberdashery shelves. I'm thinking about trying to get a tour in of the shelves at one weekend. I think probably in November. Also, let me know in the comments, because I was thinking about the Etsy thing and getting these the big advent calendars into people's hands, and I thought, what about if I put them on eBay and give everybody the link, and then I'm not expecting you to bid. I think probably first come first served, and that I don't know how it'll work out. I'll think about it, and then I might put a little poll or something on the community tab and see if you're even interested, because I could just save them for next year, really. I mean, it's just a nice idea I wanted to do. Okay, I think that's good enough. And that's what we're going for. We're going for just good enough. Let's get the needle out of the way and not forget about it. I've put it behind me. I've got an awl. So I also want to make a template, don't I? For my pieces of paper. I will do, I think I'll make some more of these, and I'll show you how I do it, but kind of take you step through step, because they're so easy, and I think they look really nice. They kind of, yeah, they look really nice. Alright, we just need to trim that down. As you can see, I measure by my eyeballs. And it doesn't really, I think that's probably why I like junk journaling, slow stitching, because it never really lets me down. I think because I just adapt as I go. This has to be a little bit more precise though. Okay. So I want, on this, I want to have 2 signatures. So I'm going to find my centre mark by folding it in half. And all this is doing is just so that I know where the middle is and that we'll have things in a proportionate way. Well, if I cut things straight, we would. We've had glorious weather and I've been stuck inside. I've gone outside to the garden a couple of times. But yeah, the weather's drawing in. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the outside edge and I'm folding it into that narrow edge. And this is why on a bigger one, where I've got a wider spine, it'll be easier to show. Shall I put a line so you can see that that's the, it's not, I need to have a scrub this mat, I'll get a new one. I see other YouTubers and their mats are always pristine and I'm like, my mat's not like that. It's full of glue and bits of paint. But that's okay, because that's who I am. Radical acceptance. I don't know if there's anything radical about it. Lindsay. So I'm just sort of folding off where this crease is going to be, because this is the line where we're going to put our holes. Now we're doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so we're going to do one in the centre, so I'm going to fold it again in half, and then I'm going to fold again from the outside edge in half as well to get like equidistant holes that always work out not quite equidistant, but you know, we're not that bothered, and it really doesn't matter on a hidden spine. That does matter though, that excuse me, that creases. There we go. So then when we come out and we unfold these things, I will be able to go in with my pencil and show you where the holes will be. I'll go in with that black pen. So there's going to be one here, one here, one here, just going to check you're still recording, because I thought I had a full battery but it's gone down. Yep, still recording. We're 15 minutes in. Okay, so we've got our template for our holes. We're going to put that on, put our little clamps back on. Got our awl. Let's move the precious book out the way. Start in the middle. Now if it was wider, I would probably use my crocodile. Although well, having said that, I have actually got into just using the awl. I think it's because I've done some sort of unusual shapes and sizes. Okay, penultimate one. And it's digging into my mat, but you know what? That's what I bought the mat for. I think it is supposed to be one of them, but I don't think they'll heal. It's supposed to be a self-healing mat, but I'm not bothered. Okay, so here we are. We've got our holes. We need to keep this. I've got a little off-centre, but that's alright. It's enough to hold it. And it's enough. The fabric will hold it too. I think this is the narrowest spine I've used, and put 2 signatures in. If I was just making this for myself, I probably would have just put 1 in. But I think she preferred 2. Okay. I was leaning over funny then. Right. Neil's behind me. Template here. Let's do that all. I can sort of feel now that I'm getting tired, like the earaches coming back that I had like initially when I got ill with the COVID. I've got this weird earache. And that's what it feels like. It feels like day 1 or 2 of it. It's strange. Try and get that equidistant. I hope, well I think she knows it's not going to be perfect and it's going to be handmade. Especially as this is my learning curve. Right, centre one. In. Nice one. Oh, nice one. Deserve a drink of hot chocolate after that, Linz. Okay. That's one done. Nearly there. We'll nearly be doing the sewing. You have to really, because sometimes I really have like, you know, like I feel like, oh, I want to make some books, and I will sit and have an afternoon and like bash like 4 of these out, and it would be no problem from scratch, like, you know, making the boxes, choosing the fabric, you know, like doing the whole thing. And like, and when I say an afternoon, I mean like from like lunchtime till supper time, you know, that kind of a weekend afternoon when you've not got anything else to do. Oh, nothing else you want to do rather than that, because there's always things to do, isn't there? I have got my laundry pile down to just clean washing that needs to be put away now. Which I'm counting as a triumph. Right, so we have our 2 signatures with holes in. We have our book, beautifully made by the teen. And we have our hidden spine, our needle. Okay. We're going to go in from the outside. I'm going to go in from the outside. I think we are. so that things, all the untidy bits are in, like, hidden in the spine. I think that's what we'll do. She needs to put like a tassel that she's made. So she's made like a handmade tassel and a magnifying glass type thing. Are we going one? I think we might go two. Yeah, let's go two. I'm sure we'll have enough. In some ways, this does feel a little bit easier than dealing with the book ends, because you're just dealing with a strip, really. I don't know what it'll feel like when we put the other signature in, but currently I'm feeling that it's not too bad. Sorry if I've gone off. I'm just sort of working with the... Okay. So I hope this will be alright. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure she'll let me know if it's not. As teenagers do. She's a great kid. It's half term today. So I don't know how it works in other countries. We have terms, and so like there'll be like a full term, and then about halfway through they have like a study break. And in schools that's generally a week, but because she's in like a sixth form, it's not called sixth form now, is it? It's called Key Stage 3, it's college, like further education. It's 2 weeks. So she's got this week and next week off. Does not have any long tails. Okay. I feel, trying that to go over there, I feel like that will sit in that book nicely. Now, you can see I've gone off there, but it's going to be alright, because it's got 2 bits of fabric to go through. That was the right hole to go off on one. We can do it. Still got bits of Halloween. So I was thinking of doing something Halloweeny, and it would have been last Sunday, but I think actually I've got some Robin-y things on the go. I think we'll move on to Christmas. I was gonna sew like a witchy bag, but I think we will move on to Christmassy bits. And so many ideas actually. I think some of it'll spill into January. I think we will have the Wise Women book just on the go. It's not particularly Halloweeny, it's a bit darky, but it's not Halloweeny, so that can just go in the mix of things. Because I've got some ideas for November and some ideas now for December. I've got loads of ideas for December, but they're not. Some of them are not necessarily very Christmassy. So I'm assuming you know how to 3-hole pamphlet stitch. That's why I'm just talking through it. At the end, if we've got time, I might just go through it. Yeah, I've got too many ideas. I don't know if you watch channels that are not either your niche interests. So my niche interests that I sort of implement are slow stitching and junk journaling, and I furniture paint as well, as and when I need to. So, you know, those, and I do watch all those types of things. And I also watch true crime, because I'm turning into my mother apparently. Oh, no, that's a bit I need to pull. And I watch other things. I watch van life. That intrigues me. Don't think I'd ever do it, but it does intrigue me. But I also watched mudlarking, which is, I think you probably have mudlarking in other countries, but it might not be called mudlarking. So that's where you go to like a riverside or a seaside and you look for old treasures, basically, like old broken pottery or whatever. And there's this channel called Kit and Caboodlers, and they mudlark, but then they also make miniature things. And I don't think I'll ever get into making miniature things, but they do inspire me in other ways. It's a bit like the furniture painters inspire me as well. That's how I got those IOD stamps, was watching the furniture painters. But this, it's called Kit and Caboodlers, and it's a mum and daughter team, and they go and mudlark on the banks of the Thames. They live like, I think they live in Kent. It's like the Kent side of the Thames estuary. I think. It is Kent, isn't it? It's not all Essex. Perhaps it is all Essex and they live in Essex. I don't know. They live on the side of the Thames, or they can get access to the Thames. Not in the city, but like out on the estuary. And then they make things out of the stuff. And they make amazing things. And they also go to charity shops and flea markets and car boot sales and stuff. And I watched this video last night, and then I watched it again when I was having my breakfast, because I was a bit like groggy when I watched it last night. And they made this Brambley hedge. Brambley hedge is like, I think they were in the 1990s when they came out. But it's all about these little mice who live in the woods. It's very English. It's almost Beatrix Potter-ish. But they made, it's like the illustrations are amazing. So I was like, oh. I have got a Beatrix Potter junk journal on the go, but I was like, oh, I need to do a Brambley Hedge one now. So, she has 4 books. I think the writer died. But she had 4 books, one for each season, or like story. I think there's more than one story in it, but and the winter one. So the shelves in the video was very autumnal. The winter one is called a snowball, and it snows outside, so they have enough snow to make an ice cave and have a dance, like a ball, like an old-fashioned ball. Oh, even though like I was a teenager in the 90s. I just still love these books because I like a bit of whimsy. So I was like, we need to do that. And our Lily was quite into Brambley Hedge when she was little. I enjoyed them books. Enjoyed those books. Okay, so now we're just going to put the glue not on this bit, because this bit needs to be loose. We're going to put it on the sides here, and I actually, because I was explaining to her what I was going to do, and you can see the ridge from where the original floating spine to this book was, and we're just going to mimic that, and then I'm going to give it back to her, and she's going to cover the inside of and neaten it up basically. So we are using sort of like linen would have been a material that was used for this, so I guess I need to find out how much it is and then save my pennies. There's somewhere in Cambridge where you can go like on bookmaking retreats, like, and learn how to like properly stitch a book, which I think would be really interesting. Would be a good thing to do. Right, loads of glue on this bit. We're not being shy with the glue at all. I must say this, if it works out alright, I might have another go at doing this, particularly when I do it in a book. But I quite like the look of seeing the signatures being sewn in as well, because it makes it obvious that this isn't what it was before. It is a junk journal. And I quite like that. So, I'll do this, and then I'm going to go and put dinner out. I put something in the crock pot, so I feel very organised. We're going to have a beef stew. I think you can see there's like a texture there where there's like some silicone just to edge the linen, because linen does fray. It's hard wearing, but it does fray. Okay. There we go. Just glue it on. Keep it pressed down. What's that bone folder? What's it? It is quite a handy tool, really, bone folder. I was trying to think. I might do a video on what are the tools that I actually use and what do I not. Because like I mentioned a crocodile. I have two different types of crocodiles. Because like when back in the noughties when everybody was into scrapbooking, and I'd just got married, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Like I would have time. I'm telling you, I do not have time for such things. Because it's a bit more precise. And I think, well, I probably have more time than I do now than what I did then. And I think it was just too precise. And I went to a couple of crops, you know, where everybody gets together. Just would be looking at what other people are doing. And those would all be lovely and, you know, like the right kind of pattern. And there would be me with this, like, cobbled together, not you know. I think if it's not done well, it doesn't look good. Whereas with junk journaling, you can be a bit imprecise and it's absolutely fine. Like this is a bit imprecise and it will be absolutely fine. There we go. Folded properly. Yeah, but I think a bone folder, I mean, you could, like, I could use a piece of wood or even a pen to do something similar. But it is nice just to have a tool specifically for that. Folding paper. Alright, it's a little bit skewy, but I think it's going to be alright. I think it's going to work. I might let her have a play with my inks. But there you go. I think I'm going to use that side for the thumbnail. I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a boring thumbnail, isn't it? It's just, that's not my vibe at all. That's a bit more of my vibe. I'll do it that way. Okay, there we go. Don't forget, very last few times to like, comment and subscribe for that. They will be sent out. See you next week, beginning of November. I'll put all the names in a hat and we'll do a pull out. We'll see. Quite excited about that. I hope she's excited about this. So, I'll look forward to chatting with you, doing another video. Sunday we're going to do some sort of slow stitch robin. I'll try and get, I'll see how I feel. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. But I probably would get one out on Friday. And then have a day where I can concentrate on other things on Saturday. And then do a slow stitch on Sunday. That's probably how I'm going to go. Until I can get my groove back on. There's also, Meg Journals is doing a No Sew Junk Journal November. I thought we could probably have a go at that if you wanted. I will, because that's how I started the channel, was through Junk Journal July. So it's something similar, but it's through November, and it's not as strict. We'll see. I'll have a think about it. I might do a this is what my ideas and not plans. Ideas and hoping for? I don't know. I'll think it through. Alright then, everybody. Nice to spend time with you. See you soon. Bye bye.